Are you happy to be here tonight? I'm excited to have this opportunity to share with you things that I think are going to be vitally important to you and significant to your life. I want you to just look at somebody, look them right in the face and say, maximize the moment. Yeah. That may be the wisest advice you have ever given anybody in all of your life. To maximize every moment of your life, to use it to its fullest potential. That's what we're going to be talking about. How to get the most out of your life, how to enjoy it, how to benefit from it, how to unashamedly, without reservation, without piety, without form or fashion, seize it. I mean, like a mad dog. I mean, to go after it with all of your might, because this is your life. This is your life, and every day you spend, you will never see again. And so you can't afford to let anybody rob not one day, because nobody can give you the day that they take from you. You've got to maximize every moment of your life. Are you ready for this? Clap your hands. Let's get down to business. We did a lot of good talking, we did a lot of good teaching, a lot of challenging on different areas of how to maximize your life and maximize your moments. And today we're going to go deeper. I want everybody in here, everybody who's got a body, which ought to be just about everybody, to say money. Money. You said that like you were broke. Let's try it again. Say money. Oh, yeah, that sounds a little bit better. We're going to talk a little bit about money. You'd be surprised how people clam up when it comes to money, because something about our country has us in a vein or a mode where we have to act like that we're really not interested in money. But we are, because we have to have it. The Bible said that money answereth all things. Did you know that? It openly, unashamedly. You don't hear people quote that scripture much, but that is true. The Bible said that money answereth all things. Now bear in mind it said things. It's not heaven, but it does answer things in this present realm. It makes a difference. Gives you influence, gives you affluence, gives you options. When you handle your finances properly in their proper perspective, it gives you options. When you don't have money, you have less options. The more money you have, the more options you have. You're riding with somebody, they start acting crazy. If you got some money, you can get a cab. If you got more money, you can get a limo. If you're really loaded, you can get a helicopter. Amen. So what we want to do is give you options so that you can maximize your money as well as maximize every area of your life. Now, first of all, I want to do a little quiz. Did you know? The quiz is, did you know? Did you know that the leading cause of divorce in this country is not adultery, but money? Did you know that more people fight divorce and separate over who handles the money, how the money's handled? The financial philosophy of the marriage is what's killing homes all over America. Did you know that? Did you know that 70% of the people incarcerated in prison today are in prison through some need, desire, or inappropriate method that they use to get money? Do you know that more wars are fought over financial gain than any other area of conflict in the entire world? Do you understand that? Do you understand that people have committed suicide over money, over stocks, over bonds, over issues? This is fairly important stuff. People get married over money. I know you can't act like you know, especially if your spouse is here. Yeah, I found out if you got some money, you look better. You don't have to be nice looking, just have some money. You got enough money, people will find something to like about you. You know? He got a beautiful nose. You know, he got the best looking nose I ever saw in my life, you know? And so we want to talk about, how can we talk about maximizing the moment and not talk about money when money and moments are equated on the same level of your life? Moments and money. All of us, or 90% of us, go to work somewhere every day, and we trade our moments for money. That's why they don't let you go home whenever you want to. I just don't feel like coming in. They say, oh no, you come in or you don't get paid. And so actually you are trading your moments for money. You're selling yourself to that company for so many hours of work or so many skills or so your consultation, your advice, what you know, what you have, what you can do is being sold for money. And in the process of selling yourself, you are selling off moments. You are bartering moments for money. So how can we talk to you about maximizing the moment and not talk to you about maximizing the money that you got for the moments that you exchanged to get the money? If you are trading your life for money and then wasting your money you traded it for, you could very well be wasting your life. Because as you spend through the money, you are spending through the moments that you will never recapture again, that you sold away for money, that you blew in the mall for nothing, and you're selling yourself for naught. Ooh. Got your attention, didn't I? I got some more things. 75% of American families carry some form of debt, outstripping savings 2 to 1. In other words, they got so much debt on their back that if they had their savings doubled, it would just begin to match their level of debt. Can't get out of debt. They haven't got enough saved to get themselves out of debt. And they are constantly going deeper and deeper into debt, but they're not going deeper and deeper into savings. So after a while, there's no way in the world that they can bail themselves out of the debt that they're in. And when you are in debt, you are enslaved. You are in bondage to a taskmaster. And if you don't learn how to manage that debt, it begins to affect your character. Because at a certain point, you stop answering the phone. And you start doing crazy things like telling your kids, tell them I'm not at home. And the child gets on the phone with crazy self and say, Mama says she's not at home. Though that is not the way that you want to live your life, running from people, dodging people, afraid of people, intimidated from people. It's not the way you want to live your life, where you go in the grocery store and you can't buy what you want. You got to figure out what you can afford. That's not the way you want to live your life, where your children are not getting the opportunity to get the education that they need to compete in life, and you're just asking God to do something spiritually that you need to do naturally. That's not going to work. We have got to master some issues over our finances, and I want to share just some basic things with you today that I believe will make a difference. It is a recommended philosophy that you ought to have enough saved right now that if everything cut off, you ought to be able to float at least 6 months. 3 to 6 months off of what you've got saved. And if you don't have that, you better take notes tonight. Okay? If you could stop working today and float for 6 months off of your resources, that's the recommend. That's not rich. That's not rich. My definition of wealthy is when you can just quit forever and just keep right on. Yeah. So you're not there yet. The good news is we're living longer than we ever lived before. But the bad news is we're running out of money. So it's almost where we should have died sooner. So either you have to die sooner or plan better. I choose to plan better, because dying sooner is not really the way I want to do. I want to see the Lord, but not today. Now, I want to talk a little bit about managing your money, because money has to be managed, and a lot of people don't understand that. They think it has to be made and not managed, but it doesn't do you any good to make it if you can't manage it. Money has to be managed, and we teach less about managing money than we do anything else. We prepare our children how to make money, how to get a degree, to get a job, to make the money, but we don't train them how to manage the money. So they come out of school with some idea, some concept, some career move, some job opportunity, whereby they're going to access X number of dollars, but they've never managed money in their life. And there's no training that we're equipping them with the life skills to be able to manage money. Why is this not happening? Most of us don't know how to manage money. I'm going to tell you something. I want you to be sure you get this in your head. It does not matter how much money you make. So if you've been sitting up praying, oh God, please, please, if I only had more money, I could do it. It doesn't matter how much money you make. I know that's hard to get that in your head, but it is true. It does not matter how much money you make. It matters how much you spend. You can make $5 million, but it doesn't mean a thing if you spent 6. So some of the prayers that you're spending and the pleading and the working overtime and undertime and side jobs and around the clock and just sow your whole life away to make more money, if you just put a little effort and time into managing the money that you have so that you can master yourself financially, because even God or nobody else is going to continue to pour valuable content into a leaking decanter. He won't do that. He won't do that. He won't do that. And so there's got to be some managing of the money. So we want to, first of all, we got to get debt up under control. We got to get debt up under control because people are investing in your dysfunction through credit cards and things like that. They're investing in your dysfunction. I'm not saying that it's wrong to have a credit card. I'm saying that it's wrong for a credit card to have you. Yeah. And I am suggesting you that you need to shop credit cards according to the interest rates and choose the least amount of interest possible and only use them within certain parameters and pay them off very, very quickly. Because if you don't do that, anybody will loan you $5, $6, $7, $8, $10,000. If you've got good credit, they'll loan you $10,000 right now at 21% interest. You are beating the stock market all in the head. If you got good credit and we can count on you to max out your credit card, you are currently the best investment possible. That's why you keep getting all of these little letters saying, in case you need any money. We have already pre-approved you for $5,000. You can have $5,000 today. And what they are doing, they are marketing toward you because you are better than the stock market. You're better than a savings account. You're better than any investment vehicle because they know you're going to eventually pay it off, and they know you're going to spend the money, and they know you can't afford it, and they know it's going to take you 3 times longer than it ought to pay for it. And so by the time you pay it back, you will have paid for the object 6 times over. You are the greatest deal in town. So when you look at the next time you look at the credit card, you can just write on the back of it, just write P-I-M-P. Never mind, you'll get it later. I want to talk to you about empowering yourself through the ability to make choices. Don't be rough. Brace yourself. The guy is wild. The ability to make choices. You choose whether you have the credit card and which one and how much. You, the consumer, have the right to choose. If it doesn't sound right, and it doesn't matter, the age-old question that we always ask when we buy the car, when we buy the house, or whatever it is we go after is, how much would that be by the month? It doesn't matter how much it's going to be by the month. It matters how many years you're going to be paying for it, at what interest rate you're going to be paying for it, how many times you pay for it over and over again. And if you're going to maximize your money, you got to stop being somebody's investment vehicle. Are you with me? I want to talk to you about empowering yourself where you begin to shop for bank services. Which bank you want to do business with. What's convenient? What's the closest proximity? What works for your life and your lifestyle? Whether they charge for checks or charge for transactions or charge for this or charge for that. You have the power to choose. You have the power to choose. Stop being the victim and just taking whatever anybody hands you. Arm yourself with information so that you can make intelligent decisions about your finances and resources. You have no right to pray, beg, plead, work, sweat, and toil for more money if you're not going to manage the money you have. Okay? I want to make a distinction between success and pseudo-success. Pseudo-success is when you're more concerned about looking successful than you are being successful. It is the enemy of greatness, and it is one of the most common dysfunctions that I've ever encountered with people anywhere is pseudo-success. It is image worship. We worship images. We want to look prosperous. We must keep up with the Joneses. And who are the Joneses anyway? Whoever they are, we must keep up with them. And so we max up everything so that we can look like we have good success, so we can look like we fit in. And in reality, that is not success at all. Stop worrying about your image. If you're going to get out of debt, if you're going to manage your money, you may have to look bad for a while so you can look good for a lifetime. Does that make sense to you? Okay, let's get into something. So when we begin to understand that we need to manage the money, the next thing I want you to understand that you have to maximize your money. You have to maximize your money. Maximize your money. Instead of you working for the money needs to be working for you. Your money needs to be working for you when you sleep at night. Isn't that a wonderful feeling? Just, more money. Y'all too spiritual to say that. Or too well educated to say there's more money and then there's more money. More money. I'm talking to you about more money. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you're going to get to that level of success that you're trying to get to, there's some things that you need to understand. You may or may not want to move into these levels of success because you may not be interested in that. And everybody's not interested in that. And you don't have to be interested in that. You certainly need to be able to sustain yourself and maintain yourself. And where you're self-sufficient, where you've got dignity, you feel good about yourself. It's not a race to see who can make the most money. That's not the case. That's not what life is all about. A man's life does not consist in the abundance of things he possesses. So having more money doesn't make you more man. Are you understanding what I'm saying? But it is important for you to understand this, that if you do have some financial goals that move into the second, third, fourth generation, that jobs are not designed to make anybody wealthy. Nobody hired you to make you rich. They hired you to make them rich. They're willing to pay you enough to sustain you on a certain level of lifestyle while you work to make them rich. Nobody hires anybody to make them rich. Jobs are not designed to do that. Jobs are designed to sustain you. And jobs give you steady money for steady bills. And the money and the bills have to be proportionized in such a way that you don't fool around and get the bills out of proportion with the income that you have through a job. So if you're trying to bail water out of the boat and the boat's sinking in debt and you're trying to bail water out and you're already maxed up to the limit, you may need some extra income streams to get that debt out of it. Or if you have a long-range goal of sending your children to college or buying another level of house, you may need some added revenue streams because you may not be able to get there through a job. And if you have some lofty, burning desire to reach some economic level of success and a rise up the barometer of social status and recognition, you might need to go into business. You might need to go into business and then hire some people to work for you to make you some money. Yeah. I want to challenge you also when you start talking about maximizing your money that you have long-range and short-range goals, a financial strategy. Most people do not have a financial strategy. They have a financial stress, but they have no financial strategy. And you will never relieve financial stress until you have a financial strategy. It's wonderful to pray about things. It's wonderful to pray. It's powerful to pray. God moves when you pray, but faith without works is dead being alone. Okay? So you need a strategy. And when you have a strategy, that strategy needs to include long and short range goals. Short range goals give you feelings of success that are important. You need to have periods of success where you can say, I'm not where I'm going to be, but I'm not where I used to be. And you can celebrate along the way. It's critical. If you don't have short-range goals, you lapse into depression and frustration because the long-range goal is 10 years down the road. Well, you can't keep going for 10 years without having some marked celebration. You've got to have some lines along the way where you congratulate your achievement, and try to congratulate yourself without going back into debt again. It would help. I'm doing good. I'm going to the mall. Yeah. That's what happens to our weight loss programs. You know, we lose 10 pounds and then we celebrate for 3 weeks and gain back 15 pounds. And that same cycle is going on. I know you can't relate to that, you know, but I'm glad I'm not talking about that. The other thing, don't put all your eggs in one basket financially. Diversify. You need a financial portfolio where you have a myriad of products that are available to you, from annuities to life insurance to mutual funds to stocks and bonds. Just diversify. Diversifying where you put your money and diversifying where you make your money. Whenever possible, you need more than one stream. In the Garden of Eden, there were 4 different rivers that fed that one garden. You need more than one stream that feeds your Eden, or you won't have much of a paradise. Ooh, you all look like you're counting streams. Yeah, you need more than one stream. It will help you. And when you begin to do that, you can begin to maximize your finances and live it to the fullest. And when you begin to live it to the fullest, wonderful things begin to happen. One of the greatest things you can ever be armed with is creativity. The same things that you use about everything else, you need to use about your finances. You use it about your clothes, you use it about cooking, you use it about building homes, you use it about everything else, and then when it comes to money, you just shut all the way down. But creativity is one of the greatest God-given resources that unlocks wealth possible. God says he gives you creativity, creative thought. The world was made from creative thought. Everything that does appear were not made from things that do appear. The chair you're sitting in started out as a thought. The building you're in started out as a thought. The car you drove to get here started out as a thought. Thoughts become matter. They become physical. They become tangible, and they become mediums of exchange for goods. They sold this chair to this place. They sold this building. They sold this car. They sold their thoughts. So when you start saying, I need money, what you really get is thoughts. And if you learn how to incubate your thoughts to fruition, your thoughts become product. They become matter. They become substance. And that thing becomes money to you. It's a process, but it begins with your thoughts. So as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. If you've got poor thoughts, you're going to have poor finances. If you've got prosperous thoughts, you're going to have prosperous finances. This is why people who are great thinkers can go completely broke and turn right around and go right back into millionaire status again because they had it in their head. Are you getting anything out of this? I want to talk a little bit about seeking wise counsel. It's very important that you surround yourself. I'm a great believer in decisions, and I believe that we are where we are today as a result of the decisions we made yesterday. That the way to get out of any situation is to make great decisions. You cannot make great decisions with poor information. I'm going to say that again because that may be the most important thing I say tonight. You cannot make great decisions with poor information. Your decisions are no better than the informational streams that you have to draw from. So you must surround yourself with wise counsel. In the multitude of counsel, there is safety. Surrounding yourself with wise counsel is critical. People don't always do that, especially fairly successful people. Even people who are extremely successful don't always surround themselves with wise counsel, because there are some people who are very successful, but they're also egotistical. And so they must be the smartest person in the building. So they purposely go out and hire and surround themselves with inferior people so that the inferior people can be impressed with how smart they are. But that's stupid. It's better to be a little bit dumb and surround yourself with real smart people who make you look intelligent. So make sure that you're surrounding yourself with wise counsel. And if you were here in the previous class, I talked about even the people you socialize with. Stop being intimidated by people that you socialize with that challenge you, that may be brighter than you, that may be more fluid than you, more intellectual than you. Don't be intimidated. Go right around them. Even if you don't know what to say, just smile pleasantly and nod. It's a wonderful thing. Just nod all the way to the door. See you. Sure did enjoy being with you. Wonderful evening. Take care of yourself. Man, wow. Isn't that something? That's impressive. That's important that you do that, because when you do that, knowledge is contagious. If you get around it, it will rub off on you. It will infect you. It will influence you. It will affect you. It will change you. It will liberate you. Surrounding yourself with wise counsel is critical. Never be too big to ask for help. Never be too big to ask for help. You don't have to do it alone. And when I'm talking about these points now, I'm going beyond just talking about money. I'm talking about counsel in every area of your life, for your marriage, for your emotional well-being. You're getting ready to build a house. It makes no difference what it is that you're about to attack. The first thing you need to do, prioritize your life by surrounding yourself with wise counsel. Pick out people who are good at that and bring them close around you so that you can learn everything you need to know, and ask them questions. Ask them questions. Because right now we're gathering information. We're gathering information so that we can be empowered to do what we need to do. We're gathering as much information as possible. We're choosing the right people, surrounding ourselves with the right people, and we're preparing ourselves to hear God, because God often speaks to us through people. He often speaks to us through people. Give him a voice to speak through by surrounding yourself with clear-headed, clear-thinking, bright, brilliant people. Bright people. Bright people. Masterful people. Are you getting anything out of that? You would think that things that were natural required no work. But I learned something. When my wife had one of our children, she decided that she was going to breastfeed. She said, I'm going to breastfeed. And what do you think about it? I thought, sounds good to me. You know, some things the guy doesn't have a whole lot of opinion about. I thought, that sounds good. And then I thought, it's natural. It's a natural thing to do. And we're back to nature. And, you know, I thought, oh, good, let's do it. Whew. That was something. She had the baby. That all went real well. You know, her breast was engorged with milk. That part went real well. I come in the room. The baby's crying. I mean, crying is what they do on TV. Our babies scream. Yeah, I mean, they turn into Friday the 13th. Their head turns all the way around to the body. The baby is like flipping out. I come into the room and she's crying. The mama's crying. My wife is crying. They both crying. Now, I said, well, what in the world are you crying about? She said, I'm crying because my breasts ache. She said, my breasts are filled with milk and I cannot get this girl to nurse. And I thought, my God, this is crazy. How can something so natural be so difficult? But it is. And we want the milk, but we're so hysterical that we're not prepared to get what is available to us. So you'll never maximize your moments or maximize your life as long as you're hysterical. You have to calm down and start managing your life. Your life must be managed. I know life seems natural and you came here and you just thought you were going to watch everything work out, but things do not work out if you don't work them out. They will not work if you don't work them. And if it's going to ever work, you have to work it. You have to work it out. Manage your life. You can't give up on you. You can't give up on your life. You can't give up on your kids. This is your life. You got one shot. You can't give up. Give up. You can't quit. You can't quit. You cannot quit. You cannot quit. Quitting is not an option. You must manage your life. Manage it. My mama would say, deal with it, baby. You got to deal with it. So when you start managing your life, you can't manage your life without managing your time, because your time is your life. Your time is your life. I have a real serious problem with people who waste my time. I really do. I really do. I'm not the kind of customer that you would like to show up late for a meeting with, because it makes me irate that you made me wait on you because you took something from me you could never give back to me. My time. My time is my life. I want you to see your time as important, because that is a part of self-esteem. When you act like your time is not important, you are saying that you're not important. Your time is important. How you manage your time is critical. When you start studying and understanding what I'm teaching and maximizing the moment means managing your time, getting the most out of your time, building your reservoirs where you can deal with life by managing your time. What are you going to do with your time, and how can you do multitask functions at the same time? And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later, how important it is for you to do 2 or 3 things at the same time. Instead of going to the grocery store for a dozen eggs and then getting home, saying, oh gosh, I gotta go back and get some milk. Go get some milk, go back home. Oh, I gotta go get some flour. Oh, I gotta go get some sugar. And that's the way, and we don't do that about grocery shopping, but we do that about many things in our lives, because we don't plan to manage our time. People management. People have to be managed. Every person in your life requires some management. I can't see you right now. I can see you tomorrow. Just because you want to see me right now doesn't mean I can see you right now. Manage things that are out of control. There are some things that are driving you crazy right now. They're driving you crazy simply because you won't manage them. I'll see you tomorrow at 2 o'clock. We can go there. We'll have a great time, but I can't do it today. Managing the people that are in your life where it doesn't overwhelm you. Believe me, I'm a master at this. I have 5 children. I have 5 children, and I'm not frustrated, because you have to manage. To him whom much is given, much is required. So there has to be some people management in your life, giving barriers to people. I'm not available right now. I'll be available later. I can see you Tuesday at 2. Where to put this person, giving them the tasks that they're good at, that they like to do, assign them what they're good at doing, and stop trying to make people be good at what they're not good at. Stop manipulating people, trying to make them do things that they're not supposed to do. Managing people is a job. There are people whose job is just to manage people. They hire them because they are instinctive and intuitive as to what this person is able to do, and they're able to allocate that person toward a task effectively. And that's their job. That's their whole job, just to see what you're good at and say, you do that. That's the whole job description. And that is your job description in your life, to manage the people that God sends into your life so that you can have some order and structure and enjoy them and maximize them. Because many times you're driving away people out of your life that really could be a blessing to you, because you don't have the management skills to manage them appropriately, where you maximize your time with them and you get frustrated with them and you push away somebody that you're going to need later. Am I making sense to you? This third one is going to be the bomb that hit Nagasaki. I mean, this is going to be really hard. Fasten your seat belts and get ready for this, because you have to manage your moods. You must manage your moods. Careers are destroyed by people who can't manage their moods. Marriages are destroyed by people who can't manage their moods. People have lost deals, contracts, businesses because they could not manage their moods. People walk away from dealing with you simply because it's not that they don't like you, it's just that you can't manage your moods. When you're supposed to do something, you have to do it. It makes no difference how you feel. Nobody wants to hear how you feel. You must manage your moods. You must understand that you are not your feelings. You are not your feelings. You have feelings. I have a coat, I have a hat, I have shoes, I have a car, I have a dog, I have feelings. None of those things are me. They're things I have. I have feelings. I am not my feelings. So since I am not my feelings, I can step apart from my feelings and manage the feelings that I'm having. I'm telling you, and I don't want to belabor this, but I could stay on this one point all night. Because I see people that God has blessed them with jobs and opportunities, and they meet people who have the power to be great blessings to them, and they lose the whole opportunity because they cannot manage their moods. I see people who were appointed to great positions and end up being disappointed because they cannot manage their moods. Not because they don't have the degree, not because they don't have the skills. People can't work with them because they don't have mood management. So no matter what seminar they go to about blessings or finances or success or accomplishment, it ends up coming to naught because they don't manage their moods. And it's very, very important that I share this with you because you may be missing the best moments of your life, not because you don't have time management, not because you don't have people management, but because you don't have mood management. The lack of mood management may be affecting your money. Believe me, there are people who have sold me things purely because I like them. I don't even know what I'm going to do with this camera. I just like the person who sold it to me. If he would have been in a bad mood, I would have saved $276.49. But the guy was so nice and he was so charismatic, and the next thing I knew, my credit card was out and it. Truth of the matter, over 20 million Americans suffer from clinical depression. They walk around in a state of just utter depression. Just depressed all the time. Don't care if they get up out of the bed, don't care if they dress, don't care what they do with themselves, don't care what they do with their bodies. They don't care, they don't care, they don't care. They don't care. Clinical depression. 20 million people is a lot of people. Out of 20 million people, some of them are probably in this room. Clinical depression. You don't see it every day because you're not with them every day, but people who get involved with them on a daily basis soon begin to understand, Mama's going through one of those things again. Don't ask her right now. Don't ask Fred don't ask your daddy right now. Don't ask him. Are you ready for this? Career management. I want to talk to you about your career management, the difference between a career and a job. You can work anywhere. A job is just where you go to make money. A career is much different from just going to make money. It's something that's in you. It's something that you love to do. It's something that revitalizes you. And by the way, they pay you. You'll never be able to work a job for a lifetime. It has to be a career, or in my profession, we would say a calling. It has to be something that unctionizes you and vitalizes you, that you are moved by the purpose of it, by the sheer pleasure of doing it, that you wake up in the morning thinking of better ways you can go about doing it because it is your thing. It is your thing. You know what I'm talking about? It is your thing. And when you do it, you catch on fire. And you want to move into something that gives you rewards other than money. It has to be something other than money, because when you are rewarded by doing it, you will do it better. And when you do it better, you will make more. Oh, you got it. You got it. Come on. You're cooking with me tonight. You're cooking with me tonight. This is important because you really can't hide passion. You either have it or you don't. If you don't have it, it soon becomes very apparent that you're just going through the motions and you're just there for the paycheck. If you're teaching, you must teach because you love to teach. It excites you to teach. You get inspired to see people learning, and you live to think of creative ways and metaphors and concepts and ideologies that you can present to the class. And by the way, they pay you. That's a great thing, isn't it? The average American is likely to have 3 to 5 careers and an average of 10 to 12 jobs in a lifetime, moving from place to place, thing to thing, trying to find where they fit, trying to tie into something that really works for them. And the best place to find out what you're supposed to be doing is to listen in your own heart. Your own heart, the beat of your own passion will tell you where you need to be placed. You need to be placed where your passion is. placed where your passion is stops you from being manipulated. Don't put me where you want me to be. Put me where I long to be. It has to be my passion. Loving what you do ranks consistently higher than salary or status in terms of priority for most American workers. Loving what you do, loving it, loving it, loving it. More than 1/3 of successful entrepreneurs and CEOs studied reports that following their passion directly led to their success. Following their passion directly led to their success. And you can become successful doing anything. Colonel Sanders got rich frying chicken. Frying chicken. Everybody been frying chicken for years. He comes along and fries chicken, and he gets rich frying chicken. But he did something that he loved to do, and he did it at the right time, and he did it in the right way. America's moms had gone to work. It was that time in history where women were going to work. America wanted home-cooked meals, and there was nobody home to cook them. He had the insight to understand this is the right time and the right place and the right product. When you do the right thing at the right time with the right product, money cometh to you now. Yeah. And the man got rich frying chicken. My grandma and them could fry chicken. They just didn't do it at the right time or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter what you do. It matters that you love to do it. It matters that your passion is to do it, and that you really get into doing it. When you do it, you get excited, you get motivated, you get on fire, and it does something for you. And people who see you do it can tell that you're a master at it because you're vibing, you're into it, you're flowing, you're kicking, you're cooking, you're throwing down, you're bombing. This is it. Can't quit, can't stop, can't block it. I'm bad at it. You know? Because this is your life and you got to enjoy it. Are you following what I'm saying? From time to time, you need to reevaluate. Just stop and see where you are. And this is the final point I want to share with you in this session. You want to reevaluate where you are. One of the greatest mistakes you can make in a marriage, for instance, you've been married for years and years and years, like we've been married for 20-some years. The initial conversation that you first had may not at all be who you are today. Because as you go, you grow. And so every so often you have to update. Yeah, I know I said that then, but I said that then because I was 23. I'm 57 now, you know. I don't need that right now. What I really need is, I'm okay now. You have to do that even with yourself, because you may have designed your whole life around a person that you are no longer. So you have to do updates and board meetings if it's with nobody but you, where you walk in and you look in the mirror and say, who are you today? Jekyll or Hyde. Evaluating where you are, getting a grip on where you are, what's going on in your life, adjusting your goals and plans to the time that you're in, getting reasonable, practical goals that fit where you are in the scheme of life. This may not be the time for you to go back to school. You may have bypassed your time to do that. This may be the time for you to go to school. It may be the time for you to open up a business. Maybe when you tried it before, you weren't ready. But now, having been more seasoned, more prepared, and worked in other companies and other institutions, you now understand things that you didn't understand before. Just because you failed at it 10 years ago doesn't mean that you can't succeed at it now. Come on, somebody. I want you to understand that you cannot spend the rest of your life groveling in the abyss of defeatism and depression over past mistakes. Just because you failed at it at one season in your life doesn't mean that you won't succeed at it at another season in your life. Get up, brush the dust off your knees and say, baby, I'm back. I'm back, devil, and I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again. You do that, some powerful things begin to happen. I want to share some things with you. Life breaks down into seasons. I talked yesterday about cycles. Life has seasons like we have seasons, like spring and summer and fall and winter. You need to identify what season you're in. Don't resent the season you're in. Enjoy every season. There's nothing any worse than seeing somebody who's in the fall of their life acting like they're in the spring of their life. I could give you some illustrations, but I won't. I have some real colorful illustrations too. I really do. I could knock you out with some real good, 70-year-old person wearing a tube top and a miniskirt. You misunderstood your season. You missed your season. You can't do that. We don't want you to do that. We don't want to see you do that. And please don't do. Every season has its own beauty. And you have to look for the beauty of that season. Your stages and ages of life. Evaluating where you are. What are you going to do with the second half of your life? If you've already gone through your first half and it's halftime and you're gearing up for the second half of your life, what are you going to do with the second half of your life? Have you made a decision? Have you done a huddle? Gotten in a huddle? Called some plays? Prepped in your mind? Where am I going from here? Did you know that you have the power to make a decision as to what you're going to do with the second half of your life? And to X off of your life things that I'm too old to be bothered with this. I don't want this. I never did really want to do this. I was doing this for my mother. I was doing this for Helen. I was doing this for Frederica. Now I've come to a point in my life. It's my thing. I'm going to do what I want to do. Oh, you can't tell me. But anyway, I won't sing the rest of it. But I'm back. I'm back. I'm okay now. I'm cool. What are you going to do? What are you going to do with the second half of your life? How do you want to spend it? How do you want to live it? What do you want to do? A friend of mine years ago, he contracted AIDS, and I went to school with him. I stopped by to see him. He'd come home, he was so sick, he was almost dead. And I went by to see him, and I walked in the house, and he was just very weak and very frail and passing away. And I said, hey, man, I said, what do you want to do? He said, I'm sick. I said, yeah, I know. I said, well, what you want to do? He said, well, I'm sick. They say I'm going to die. I said, yeah, but you're not dead yet. So what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? If you only had one day left, you going to spend it in the house? Shaking and trembling and stuff? He said, well, I can't hardly wear shoes. I said, put on some slippers. Where you want to go? He said, well, I want to feel the sun in my face. I said, well, come on, let's get in the car. Because we're wasting time. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Nobody knows how many days they have left. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? If this were all there were, what would you do differently? Being empowered to make those decisions. Do you want to answer the phone? If not, let it ring. Yes, yes. I'm convinced that life begins at 40. Because it took me to get to 40 before I understood that I don't have to answer the phone when it rings. I don't have to open the door. And I don't have to come over just because you invited me. It's wonderful. I love it. I love it. Maximizing your moment means understanding what season you are in, enjoying every season of your life. Let me share this with you. There's a story in the book of Genesis that Jacob gathered his sons around the bed and begins to prophesy to each of them and to bless them and to lay hands on them and tell them who they are. And when it comes to Benjamin, of which the kings of Israel would come, he said, Benjamin, you shall raven as a wolf. Raven, where we get the word ravenous. He said, you're going to be hungry like a wolf. Hunger is an indication of greatness. An insatiable desire to go higher and more is an indication that you've been marked for greatness. If you find yourself unable to be satisfied where other people are satisfied, if you find yourself dreaming of something that's beyond your grasp, if you find yourself believing for something that other people think are ridiculous, it could be that you've been marked for greatness. Listen to what he says. He says, Benjamin, you shall raven as a wolf. In the morning, you shall devour the prey. In the morning, you shall devour the prey. Because you're young and you're strong. And if you're going to devour anything, do it in the morning. Young people devour the prey in the morning. That's when you're strong, you're swift of foot, you're sleek, you're ready, you're armed, you're aimed, you're dangerous. Use the passion and the strength of your youth to devour the prey. It is in the morning, the old man said, that you shall devour the prey. And he said, and in the evening, you shall divide the spoils. What you devour in the morning of your life, you will divide in the evening of your life. Understand the difference between these ages and stages, because if you get this wrong, it will kill you. We have too many young people who are trying to divide the spoils when they haven't devoured the prey. You can't divide spoils today because you're not at that stage yet. This is the hour in your life for you to raven as a wolf. You're supposed to be hungry. You're supposed to be radical. You're supposed to be devouring something. You're supposed to jump on it because you're bad. You know, jump on it because you can. Wear it out. In the morning, you devour the prey. In the evening now, divide the spoils. Don't keep biting into the evening. When it's evening, you have to know when to say, okay, now it's time for me to divide the spoils. Paid my dues, served my time. Now it's time for me to kick back and enjoy this season of my life and not feel guilty. Maximize the moment.